might not think there's a direct correlation between our clutter and how much we spend, but I'm gonna share with you today, when you are looking at things through a frugal minimalist mindset, you can see that sometimes the act of taking inventory of what you have can be key. Today's video is a collab with Kelly Ann Smith. You might also know her as Freedom in a Budget. When Kelly asked if I would join her for this 100 item declutter challenge, I was like, heck yes. Number one, because I love Kelly. I've been watching her channel for years and years. I've gotten lots of inspiration through her videos, and I couldn't be more excited to be doing this with her today. And secondly, this channel is all about frugal living, budgeting, saving money with a sprinkle of minimalism, because I highly value what happens when you adopt a minimalist mindset. And that has some decluttering on my brain, and even better than decluttering, de-owning. And thirdly, I have a ton to declutter. This is my third year living in this house, and unbeknownst to me, there's just been some spaces that I've been collecting things, and it was time to get myself into gear. So thank you, Kelly, for challenging me. And you guys, I'm excited to show you what I did. I'm gonna show you some of the aspects of what I was working on. I'm gonna show you footage of what I was thinking when I started, and then I will wrap it up at the end with what I learned through this experience. As you're watching this, I just want you to know it's very important to know what you have. So this video, when I actually started, I thought I was gonna do my entire house. Oh no. We did the kitchen and the kitchen only, and it took me hours, and I will show you clips of why. The older I get, the less and less inventory I want to manage. I do not like the feeling of A, not knowing where to find something. That really bothers me. Two, in the kitchen, I don't like having things where they really don't belong, where they don't serve the function of the thing near the place where I would do the thing. Like, I like the coffee mugs near the coffee maker. I like things to be functional. I like them to be easy breezy lemon squeezy. I like there to be less in my way. Right, Kiki? This has been a day that I have been dreading for a while because I have so much to clean and declutter, but I'm just gonna start with one room at a time and see how it goes. Starting with the kitchen. I'm just gonna give you the highlights. I know you guys don't have all day, but I'm just gonna emphasize the things that made a difference and kind of minimize the things that are trivial. Wish me luck. These days, they're not things that I really look forward to, but I know that in the end, I will be very happy I did it. The reason I don't look forward to it is it just requires so much energy, which is just more reinforcement that the idea of less in my home would bring me more energy. And I am confident in this because when I find piles of clutter, it just sucks my energy dry. And for a creative person like myself to make videos, to choreograph, all the things that I need to do in life, I need to have a clear head, and I need to not be distracted by cluttery spots, or if I go to reach for something and three things fall over. It's such a waste of energy, time, in the end, money. And I like a frustration-free home. And that is another reason that I'm taking this seriously and getting it done today so that I can have a really awesome summer without all the things. I don't need all the things. I'm aware I don't need all the things. What I want to remind you is sometimes we buy things and then it was a bad choice, or, we think we can't part with it. Oh, we spent money on that. But listen, I'm not going to keep paying for a mistake I made a while ago. You know what I mean? Let's cut it off. Let's be done with it. And let's make better choices going forward. Given new information, we make new decisions. And a lot of new decisions are going to be clear it out. So one of the tips that I just want to get out there is when you are attempting a declutter or a de-owning, what's the difference between decluttering and de-owning? I did a whole video on this inspired by Joshua Becker. I will leave it up here if you want to watch it later. Decluttering is often sorting things and reformatting it so it all still fits. De-owning is when you actually remove things, removing the unnecessary, removing the excess. It's so much better to de-own than just to rearrange and declutter it a little bit. Do you get what I'm saying? De-owning is the thing that's gonna make a bigger difference and move the needle in your frugal minimalist home, if that's what you're looking to do. In my kitchen, the thing that started this off was I knew I had this one drawer full of water bottles and containers. It was completely not functional. And I have a small kitchen, so every space is really needed. And that was a whole drawer that I was not utilizing strategically, and that bothered me. I had no idea what was actually in there. And I'm pretty certain if I hadn't looked at anything in that drawer for about a year, I could probably get rid of most of it. When I started, I just thought I wanted to get everything out in the open so I could actually see everything. And the other thing was, I've been here for 3 years. I wanted to clean all of my cabinets. So I took everything out of every drawer and every cabinet. And I'll tell you, thank goodness I was just doing the kitchen for this video, because I felt so overwhelmed just with the kitchen. And if I had to do other rooms, I would have drowned in all the things. So when you're looking at all your stuff, it's kind of like, wow, I actually do have a lot of things. And when you can actually see what you have, you might remember that you don't need to buy so much more because you already have so many things. One thing that I was absolutely looking for in my kitchen was duplicates. If I had two things, if I had 2 can openers, if I had 2 bottle openers, or I had 3 of something, could I cull that down a little bit, down to 1 or maybe 2 instead of 3? I don't like having a lot of extras of things that do the same thing. It's not really a good use of my space. Now this drawer I was dreading opening. I actually do open it quite often, but I never go through it because I am fearful because of all the little things that I didn't want to look at, all the little details. I knew probably a quarter of this at least was trash, but I just wasn't taking the time to do it. This is my junk drawer. And as you can see, it actually took me 3 attempts to open it because it was so full of clutter. Now, I knew full well once I dove into this drawer that I would be throwing a lot of things away. I would be putting things that needed to be somewhere else. Like this, it wasn't the place for this. The junk drawer is not where I needed 97% of this to be. So I took everything out, as you can see, and this is what it looks like when it's actually empty. It's beautiful, it's refreshing, and then I had to start over. What I did when I was starting over was you only put back in the things that are absolutely necessary. For me, I like having a stick lighter that I think I got for my stocking stuffer, you guys, that I always ask for every Christmas. But a stick lighter because I like to burn candles. My scissors because I always need scissors for something, opening something in there. And then I also always have tape in there because I just need tape. Does anybody else need tape? Like I need Scotch tape for something, and that's where I'm gonna find it. This cluttered drawer full of all the drink containers now contains all my Tupperware. Originally, that Tupperware was overflowing out of some of the other cabinets. Sometimes I would open a cabinet and Tupperware would come flying out at my head. And I just thought this was a much better use of the space because I do like to put my leftovers in these containers and take them to lunch. And now I know where they all are, and I know the sizes, and all the lids match. Hooray! Here's a little thing I decided to do. I had these 3 containers that I wasn't using, which why wasn't I using them? These are great. And I have these materials that I use for birthdays or celebrations. I probably only bust these things out 2 to 4 times a year. So I put them in these containers and then I stored them above my refrigerator because you know those cabinets above the refrigerator? What do you guys put in those? Like, what is up there that you're going to easily access? Do you know what I'm talking about? The 2 cabinets that are up too high that you have to stand on a chair to get to. So what I did was I put those things that I only take out 2 to 4 times a year, stored it up there. So now they're out of the way. They're not taking up precious real estate in the lower parts of the kitchen that I access regularly. I just thought this was such a good idea. And then when I need this stuff, they're in the bins. I can just take them out as they are, display them, like the straws, the napkins, the paper cups, the party stuff. You know what I'm saying? Candles, birthday candles. I'm not gonna have those out all the time. Why are they in my peripheral on the regular? I put them out of sight, out of mind until I need them. While I was going through my pantry, I found a couple items like this. Some precious expired products that I hadn't even opened. I hate wasting food. And sometimes if something is a little out of date, no problem. It's good when you do a good kitchen declutter to look for anything out of date within reason and get rid of the things that you're not going to use or are really beyond their good date. Now, I apologize if you were hoping I was going to show you each item of the 100 items that I decluttered, but that junk drawer alone, you guys, was over 100 tedious items. And I'm just not that tedious. I can't waste your time showing you 100 little items and papers and cards that I was throwing away. But just know that junk drawer alone was 100% over 100 little items. And then there were some mugs and some other things. So there's a couple things I also want to just encourage you. When you're decluttering or de-owning, if you find something that has a negative inner feeling when you look at it, get rid of it. I had a dish towel that I got, I don't even want to explain, but when I look at it, I have these negative kind of mad feelings, and I was like, I don't want that in the house anymore. So I got rid of that, donating it. Donate things that you really don't want to look at anymore, that you're totally not going to use, or that someone else might find more use out of than you. If you're iffy, get rid of it. Decluttering this kitchen alone just gave me that gentle inspiration to spend less, because when your cabinets and drawers are cluttered with things you don't use, you really just question, why do I keep acquiring all these things? And knowing that you actually probably have an abundance of things instead of a lack of things, it's just a great reminder of how much you have and how much you probably don't need to get more things. The concept of minimalism and doing more with less has really changed my life. And Kelly, thank you so much for challenging me to do this. This was very helpful for me. And if anyone is watching this and you're feeling kind of like, I've got a spot I need to do this with, I'm gonna challenge you to do a 100 item declutter challenge on your own and see what you come up with. If you've got an area in your house that you need to declutter like yesterday, leave me in the comments, where's your trouble spot and where are you going to attack next? I love owning less. It is anxiety reducing. I have better focus. I smile more when I am not opening things and things are falling out, when everything has its place. You may not operate the same way I do, but even if you do in any way, find that spot, declutter it, and feel better about your space. Making your home your sanctuary is very important, and sometimes the key is less. I'm gonna leave some decluttering videos for you to check out later if you're interested, but next, go ahead and click on Kelly's video so she can show you what she did. Thank you again, Kelly. This was so fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.